Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. This is CCNA course day 55 and today we are going to talk about Terraform, one of the tools that I spoke about that a little bit in a previous video, but I told you that I'm just going to go into more detail, and this is the detail that we are going to go through that. First of all, we are going to take a look at what Terraform is and how the configuration is going to be injected using Terraform into your environment. This is kind of a tool for, let's say, automation in your network, and learning that is going to help you a lot. So one of the reasons that we do this, as I told you in previous videos, is manual configuration is going to take a lot of time. And of course, mistakes are going to happen when you just go through a configuration. You make a lot of mistakes, and this is going to waste a lot of time, of course. And when you go into large environments, just managing so many devices is going to be a pain. So you don't really want to do this by hand. So what you do is using automation softwares like Terraform, for example, to do this. Terraform is kind of an IAC tool. Well, we call it infrastructure as a code, which means that when you, as code, of course, when you do this, everything is going to be scripted in your network. Everything is going to be executed by the scripts. And one of the things that I spoke about that in previous videos, I told you that it should be in a way that when you do this multiple times, you're going to get the same result. Terraform is going to give you the same result. This is created by a company named HashiCorp, and we can just use this on-premise or across clouds, which means that you can even work with your cloud infrastructure just to be automated using Terraform. Terraform is a provisioner, which means that you are going to create different resources within Terraform. Now, understanding resources is going to be a little bit maybe confusing. Resource means everything that you have on the device. An IP address is a resource. Let's say a configuration is a resource. The device itself is a resource. Let's say loopback interface is a resource. So different things on the device is going to be considered as resource. So everything that you have is going to be created using these things, which means that you're just going to create, update, or remove the resources. So everything is going to be done by Terraform like this. Now, infrastructure as a code itself is going to create kind of a consistency across the network. What it means is you are going to have let's say a text file. You're going to have the script file. You're going to execute that, and this is repeatable. Like I said, whatever that you do is going to just yield the same result. For example, you run this. If you don't have a VLAN interface, the VLAN interface is going to be created for you. If you have the VLAN interface, then this part is going to be skipped, or it's going to be checked to make sure that the configuration on the VLAN interface is exactly the same as what you have on the script, and this is going to kind of standardize everything that you have in your network. Now, HashiCorp configuration language, or HCL, this is the language which is used to write the scripts. For a CCNA level, of course, you're not supposed to know this language, and this is not, of course, hard to write. Syntax is clean, easy to read, and it's much easier than many traditional languages that you have for programming. So it is not going to be so hard to understand this language. Also, what we have is cloud agnostic design. This means that you can run it on multiple vendors' devices. Doesn't matter whether this is Cisco, Juniper, I don't know, Huawei, or RSR, different vendors that you have out there. All of them could be configured using this scripts. Also, you can run this on the cloud, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud, and also Cisco. All of them just accept Terraform scripts, and you can just run them on hybrid networks, which means that if your network is partly on cloud and partly on premise, this is going to work as well for you. So let me just give you some real world examples for this. Say, for example, you want to create a VPN between different branches of your network. Say, for example, you are configuring your cloud networking, different devices that you have created on the cloud, and the network that connects these devices to each other. You want to have standardized lab environments. All of them could be run using Terraform. So that is not going to be something that you are limited to one place. You can just run it on multiple places, online or on-site. Manual configuration, like I said, is very slow to configure, specifically if your network is very big. So what you do is you run scripts to make sure that configuration is first of all documented, which means that you always know what you have done on the network because there is some place that you can just reference to. The other thing is the configuration is not something based on what you think is correct. This is based on what the policies have been designed in your network, and based on that policy the configuration is created for you and is scripted, which means that you do not really change it just haphazardly. And also changes could be reviewed, and this means that you can have multiple versions of the configuration. You can see what has changed over time, and this is going to be added to the documentation that you have as well. So that is what you do when you use this kind of a tool this kind of tools in your network. The other thing is a comparison between Ansible and Terraform. I've spoken about Ansible. Ansible, of course, is going to be used along with Terraform. This is not something that you just throw away when there is something new. Terraform is more about provision, which means that you just create a configuration. You can write multiple times to make sure that everything is exactly the way that you want. Ansible is about configuration management. Terraform tracks infrastructure state. Ansible handles everything different. So there are many real-world environments. Engineers use both tools in together. So this is not something that you just use one of them. Ansible pushes the configuration to the devices. That is something that you have done for. Terraform creates and provisions. So that is just a difference. And between these two, you should just know that Terraform is for provisioning. Ansible is just for pushing the configurations. Ansible is kind of maybe inferior to Terraform, but again, using both of them is going to help you to run your network much easier. For a CCNA exam, you should just know that Terraform is provisioning tool, Ansible is for configuration management. Terraform has state management as well. This means that you can just track the current infrastructure state. You can just see how the network is configured, and the changes that are made to the network could be just tracked. Something that is, again, I have spoken about this before, is called idempotency. Idempotency means that you run a script multiple times and always gives you the same result. That is what Terraform does. Scripts that you have run there, like I said, if you have a VLAN interface, it's going to be there. Just the configuration is going to be compared to the script. If you don't have the VLAN interface, it's going to be created for you based on the script. This is going to reduce the downtime risk, and also stability is going to be improved in your network. Installation of Terraform is very easy. You can have it on multiple platforms. You can just run it very easily. This is very lightweight too. And also there are some installation examples in this slide that you can see for Mac, for example, and also on Linux or Windows, of course, there are some packages that you can run. What is a provider? Very much similar to plugins that you add to other software, there are plugins that could be added to Terraform, which means that if Terraform cannot be run or cannot run configuration or scripts on a specific platform, if you just have a plugin for that platform that you can just receive it from the website. One reason that I'm telling you this is because multiple vendors support Terraform, and you can just reference to the vendor's website and you can download the plugin for Terraform. We can add it to the plugins, and then after that that platform is manageable by Terraform. So you can just do this easily, and use Terraform for multiple providers. One of the examples, for example, Cisco ASXE, Amazon Web Services, Azure provider, and Google Cloud provider. All of them support Terraform. And there is something which is called Terraform registry. All the documentations, all the provider plugins, all the files that you have is going to be saved in place that you just call it registry, and then engineers can easily reference to that registry and see what we have. Again, resources, like I said, different items that we have is called resources in Terraform jargon. Interfaces themselves, IP addresses for the interfaces, virtual machines that we have, subnets, firewall rules, everything that you create, everything that you create, entries for access control lists, for example. These are all called resources in Terraform. The configuration file ends with .tf, so you can easily figure out the files, and could be Terraform could use multiple files at the same time. You can reference the multiple files at the same time, and this is good actually. Why? Because you might be tempted to just save everything in one file. But here, if you have multiple files and you group those files and use those files in kind of folder structure, then this is going to help you to organize everything much easier. So again, you have groups of files and you have files that ends with .tf. Some of the files which are very important, for example, are these files: provider tf, variable tf. One is terraform.tf vars, variables, and also loopback tf that you have in here. So each one of them is explained in its own slide. You can see that, for example, for provider TF, this is where you just have the settings for a connection, for example, to connect a device, and use variables for credentials. When I say variables, this means that you do not hard code everything. Like credentials are very sensitive. If you hard code it in the file, anyone that has access to the file can easily read them, but you use variables instead, which means that whenever you run this, you're going to be asked for the values for these variables, for example, credentials, and that is what you have for providers. Variables themselves, like I said, could be in different forms, and also this is going to give you, first of all, avoidance of saving sensitive data in the files, and also simplifies the update and improves the flexibility, which means that anyone can reuse the let's say document and enter the values that is specific to that person. TF vars is for sensitive information that you have, like username and password, and it should not be uploaded to repositories. You need to protect those credentials most of the time. And another thing, for example, a loopback resource example could be like this. Resources called iOS XE interface loopback, and the name is loopback. Create loopback 100 is the command, and then add IP address, and after that interface description. All of them are resource description for creating an object in Terraform. Another thing this is important to understand is when you just start Terraform, Terraform goes through multiple stages. One of them is initialization. If you do not initialize the environment, then nothing is going to work. So, for example, you download provider plugin, and then you need to initialize the working directory for that. If you do not, then running configuration could not be executed for you. The other thing is planning phase. This means that the changes that are going to be made is going to be shown. So this gives you a comparison between what is before and what's going to be the after state of the device. You're not going to execute it in that time. Maybe most of the time you're going to keep the let's say script to be run in maintenance, we know, most of the time after midnight. So that is what you have. And then you have the application, the apply for phase, which means that you have run the configuration, but you have not yet applied it. You're going to apply it in this phase. which means that you need to approve. It's going to just kind of ask for your verification before just execute the commands, and then it's going to execute them. Execution is going to create or modify resources and maybe remove the resources sometime for you. Terraform destroy is going to be used for removal of the resources. For example, removing an IP address from an interface, or let's say remove everything that you have. Most of the time, of course, this is not going to happen. You are very selective when you just remove the resources in your network. Some of the beginner mistakes, of course, is going to be this. First of all, you forget initialization phase, or maybe you hard code the username and password, the credentials into the script. Like I said, I should avoid from that. Also, skipping Terraform planning phase, which is executing everything without just checking it. And in the end, editing resources manually outside Terraform. This means that you are doing something undocumented, which is prohibited very, very much, actually. And troubleshooting tips, first of all, make sure that before adding a provider plugin, you read the documentation, verify credentials and connectivity. Connecting or reachability to the device that you're trying to manage is very important for you. Error messages should be read, and also planning should be done before applying the script on the device or devices. So memory shortcut, the phases are going to be something like iPad. I just say this is going to be iPad, and iPad is the beginning of initialization, planning, application, and then destruction of the resources. So destruction, of course, should be done very selectively if necessary in your network. For exams, CCNA, you should know that Terraform is a provisioning tool, Ansible is a configuration tool. That's the memory shortcut that you have for the exam. And also, you should know that these are the tools used to make sure that your network is going to work stayed well. And you should understand infrastructure as code, which means that the network is scripted and documented config. And that's almost everything. Please like and share the video. Also, drop your questions in the comment section. I will try to answer your questions as soon as possible. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and stay tuned. See you in later videos.